Thank you. Welcome, everyone, to a Saturday showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. And here they come, the Cats. They will dance their way onto the floor as you're watching the SEC on ESPN. When they get there, they find a sea of blue. And this home crowd knows they got a chance this year to do what they haven't done since 2012, and that's win a national championship. Currently ranked 5 against that Florida team. Those guys in the studio just mentioned one of the first 4 out, and opportunity was the word that used by John Crispin, and he's right. That's Jimmy Dykes. I'm Carl Ravitch. Welcome. Looking forward to seeing how this game plays out. Opportunity is right here, and it's knocking for these Gators. What are they going to have to do, man?
Well, Ravitch, there's not a team in college basketball today that has a bigger opportunity than the Florida Gators. They go on the road and knock off Kentucky and Rupp. They slide solidly, I think, into that NCAA projected bracket, but it will not be easy. Florida comes in hot. Kentucky comes in hotter. If you're Kentucky, can you stay hungry after you've eaten some good meals? Well, that's a challenge for Kentucky, and John Calipari was all in on his preparation today with his guys, understanding that Florida can kind of dictate the tempo of the game and slow this thing down. Tshiebwe will have something to say about it because this guy is absolutely ferocious and vicious on the glass. He's the nation's leading rebounder, one of the best ones we've ever had in the college game since it started, and his presence in front of the rim is a handful. The one thing he does struggle with, though, Ravi, is length. And Colin Castleton, all of 6'11". Can he stay out of foul trouble, not give Tshiebwe angles, and make sure that Florida has a presence around the rim to throw it to as a pressure release? Florida, a massive opportunity over the next 2 hours.
Sure is. We saw Walker Kessler earlier today with a triple-double. Castleton's another one of those guys that can block double-digit shots. And Tshiebwe, to answer your question, can Kentucky stay hungry after they've eaten? He's always hungry for rebounds.
At his core, he's a fighter, talking about Oscar Tshiebwe, and everything funnels off of his game from that heart that's full of fight. One of the most dominant physical players the game's ever seen.
Castleton stole that tip before it even got to its apex, and it's Tyree Appleby who won the point for the Gators.
Another reason why we should do away with the jump ball to start the game. Go to the visiting team getting the ball out front. That toss of the officials is so inconsistent, it drives coaches nuts.
Well, Safir Wheeler here within the first 15 seconds picks up a foul. Kentucky's deep all over the place. They're deep at the point guard position. Washington can move over, and of course Davion Mintz is a luxury off the bench.
Rabbi, I talked about, can Florida dictate this game, how it's going to be played? Can they keep it in the 60s? I think it's a magic number for Mike White.
Castleton high arcing 2. That goes down. Yeah, Mike White this morning jokingly said, what would you like to keep it in the 60s? He said, actually, the 30s.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. But again, if you're Kentucky, you cannot allow Florida to set the rules of the game. You have to do it with your defense and get your run game going on your home floor.
Kellen Grady, the three-point threat for Kentucky, and they throw the alley-oop to Keon Brooks, who is guarded by Appleby. What a job by Appleby. Stepped right in front of Grady. He knew that was the outlet.
Ravi, what a battle by Appleby as a low-post defender.
Now Appleby, high arcer, no good. Severe Wheeler was there to deflect it, and that gets it to Ty Washington. They find Grady in the corner. He steps to his right, carries the three. Good start for Kellen Grady.
Kentucky puts ultimate pressure on you in their transition game by sprinting shooters to the deep corner. And you picked up on it a couple of weeks ago. Grady's so good going to his left on his shot. Look at this transition push by Kentucky. They flood the floor with shooters and speed. They shot fake, the release rotation. Good start for Kellen Grady.
Make it 18 straight games with at least one three-pointer for Kellen Grady. Here's the second attempt. And the second one that finds all net. And just like that, Mike White says, hang on a sec. We focused on stopping Kellen Grady during the shoot-around. Kellen Grady's got all 6 points.
He was very clear. We do not come off of Kellen Grady no matter what. Timeout, let's revisit it.
.62 Kentucky. What a start for Kellen Grady, who has become such a weapon for Kentucky. We've seen great three-point shooters at this university. He is certainly climbing the ladder as far as the guys that they want to take a shot late. Started with a Castleton jumper, and since then it's been all Kentucky. Castleton offensive rebound put back up, but it's been all Colin Castleton for the Gators.
Yeah, Castleton's got great hands to run that rebound down out of area and shoot that soft little running floater for a 6'11 guy. Hard to guard.
So what was that, just a reminder timeout, literally? Like, make sure someone's glued to 31?
Absolutely. He has, Kellen Grady, gravity ability as much as anyone in this league.
Florida's the team that ball fakes everybody. That time it was Washington who did it, and that allowed a foul line jumper to go.
Ty is so good at that pull-up 15-foot range jump shot. You come out and take on a ball fake, you have to keep your feet down and your butt down, your hands can come up, but nothing else.
Castleton looking for another, and boy, that little jump shot, man, we see so many 6'11", 7-footers who have that mid-range jumper.
What's Mike White trying to do to Oscar Tshiebwe? Drag him away from the rim with the jump shooting ability of Colin Castleton.
Castleton has all 6, he and Grady with 6 each. And now Tshiebwe gets involved down in the low block. Wheeler has missed his last 19 shots, and he rattles one in, and the crowd, many of them stand as the seal has been broken for Xavier Wheeler.
And interesting, Mike White applauded his guys because they came off of Wheeler and said if Wheeler can make threes, so be it.
Well, Kentucky is 4 for 4, and that's going to be a walk for Castleton.
Yeah, Tshiebwe just slowly inching closer now to Castleton on those perimeter touches.
7th season as the Florida head coach. You see what he's done there as far as road wins. This is a team that travels well. They play really good defense. They don't shoot very well. They're challenged offensively.
Yeah, Castleton has to have a big game, and he has to get double-figure scoring from 2 other teammates. Is it Myron Jones, 0 in orange? He's coming off of a huge performance. 7 made threes in their last ball game.
Yeah, Jones into the game now as they go with a little soft man-to-man. Tshiebwe baseline jumper. No, and all during the shoot-around. One time he shot, Calipari would say, it's going in, it's going in, it's going in, to convince him to be confident with his shot. Where else can Florida get points? There's the turnover. Kentucky does this as well as they have in a long time. They run, man, and that one is deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with the Cats. Under the 16 mark, Kentucky off to a terrific start. 4 of 5 from the floor and lead it by 5. Their team in points, rebounding, field goal percentage, steals per game, and blocks per game. Davis and the recently traded Ben Simmons in the NBA. Oscar Tshiebwe currently leading Kentucky in all 5 of those categories and is on pace to join the list. The great Deb Moore, who is the sports information director for Kentucky basketball, pointed out one thing that gets overlooked about Oscar, his steals and his blocks, like 2 a game for each one of those.
Yeah, Ravi, it's amazing what he does because he is a below-the-rim athlete, and he's not super explosive in terms of just getting up above and getting stuff off the glass. His rebounds are below the rim. He carves out space, and I said it in the last ball game, his feet find the ball, and then his hands go and retrieve it. And he doesn't get a lot of out-of-area rebounds because he's always in the area of the rebound. His feet take him to the ball, as well as anyone that we've had in a long time at the college level.
Gators have won 7 of 9. And again, down 11-6 early here at Rupp. Tshiebwe, it's going to go in. That's what Cal was telling him all morning. He looks to his bench and says, see, get him that shot. He can make that shot too. Oscar Tshiebwe is doing everything this season at a very high level. Jones pops right in front of him. Castleton was there, still there. Oscar rips it away from 2 Gators. And now Grady, ball fake. 3 for 3 from 3. Wow, are they starting on fire, these Cats.
No team in college basketball is more lethal in transition than the Kentucky Wildcats. None.
And McKissick into the game. They got an open 3. DeRuggi gives it to Castleton, and that is knocked away. Turnovers piling up for the Gators, and it's Ty who goes for 3. Air ball, Tshiebwe. Over Castleton, Oscar Tshiebwe. 4 early points and a couple of rebounds, and a 10-0 run for Kentucky.
Tshiebwe owns that area on the floor in front of the rim on both ends of the floor. Very unique. Well, Kentucky playing big on the ball defensively. Xavier did it last night to UConn.
5th turnover. Wheeler. Good pass on the baseline. Keon Brooks. Oh, they're turning the turnovers into quick points, and if he wanted to play in the 30s, Kentucky's going to be there in 2 minutes. What a start. Wildcats by 14. Nice call, Ravitch. 5 Florida turnovers, 9 Kentucky points off the turnovers.
Well, Kentucky's transition is as lethal as anybody in college basketball. Why? The point guard, Wheeler and Tshiebwe, are jets at the 1 and the 5 spot. And then you got the deep shooting out of the corners by Grady and guys like Mintz. And then a 4-man cleaning up stuff, just finding gaps in Brooks. That team speed and that shooting ability and how they space you out. No one in college ball is better in conversion offense than Kentucky. And it's not just on their home floor.
Yeah.
They do it on the road. They can do it on a neutral floor. That's why they are one of the favorites for the Final Four.
Kwesi Reeves now in, number 14. So is C.J. Felder for Florida as they keep trying to push the right buttons. And right off the bench, then the 3 by Reeves, no good. But Wheeler is so fast, he'll push the tempo, and every Wildcat knows exactly where to go when he's doing that.
He is so fast, and Tshiebwe was gaining ground on him.
Kentucky shooting 80%. They're 8 of 10 from the floor. Tshiebwe, spin move, baseline. Wheeler, tough shot, no good. Boy, hung in the air as long as he could, flipped it up on the rim, and it didn't go.
You're Mike White, you're down 20-6, and you're trying to slow the game down and dictate the pace. You have to fight against that urge to play fast right now, because if you do, you may dig yourself even a deeper hole.
They're going to get Wheeler, and that's going to be the 2nd foul on Wheeler, and that brings Mintz off the bench for Kentucky. And the bigger issue may be that Tyree Appleby is down on the floor, grabbing at his left leg, almost like a Charlie horse, right above the knee. And I think his knee got him right there, and that is significant pain. If you ever had a knee go into that area of your leg, man, it hurts.
You know, most guys, and I think Appleby has on that padded undergarment that kind of protects that thigh area, but I just don't know if that thigh pad was low enough.
Tyree Appleby, the senior out of Jacksonville, Arkansas. Slow to get up and having a hard time putting any weight on that left leg of his. You can see that white compression short underneath.
Yeah. That would be a big, big blow to Florida in this game because he is your most trusted handler. He's got the speed defensively to stay in front of guys like Wheeler and Ty, and he's been knocking down a really good 3-ball as of late from a scoring point guard. He's in some serious pain right now.
Now as they come back from the timeout and they continue to address Appleby's left knee. We saw Auburn today with a big win. You talk about Joe Lunardi's first 4 out and his first line top seed teams. Kentucky is right on the edge with Arizona.
How dominant was Walker Kessler today in that ball game? What, 12 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 blocks. As important to his team as anyone in the SEC is Walker Kessler.
Florida goes with a smaller lineup now. There's no Colin Castleton on the floor. McKissick into the paint, floater over Tshiebwe. Good shot there by Brandon McKissick out of Ferguson, Missouri, the senior.
Ravi, Mike White went old school flex. He tightened that thing down and got a baseline cut and a down screen. A baseline cut and a down screen. Just kind of grinded his way to 2 points.
Wheeler on the bench. There's no Jacob Toppin available for Kentucky today. We saw him roll the ankle the last game we did. He's not available for them as Keon Brooks has it one-on-one with DeRuggi. Absorbs and then throws it up. No good. Tshiebwe. Look at the battle by Tshiebwe, but Nas Lane was able to knock it out of his hands.
It's amazing the 15-16 boards that Tshiebwe gets in. He is surround sound defense at all times.
3-ball, that's good. And all of a sudden, 5-0 run for the Gators.
It's a matchup zone by Florida. If the ball goes to the high post, they go man-to-man. Right now, boom, they go man-to-man off of it.
You're getting a push from behind on Felder, who just knocked down a three. And that's number one on number one.
I mentioned Florida grinding their way around. Just watch the screening action and the down screen that happens in this old-time flex offense. There's the baseline cut, and you can get a down screen or just an interchange on the weak side and another baseline cut. That's an old-school Boston College tight flex Al Skinner that was really popular 20, 25 years ago.
Washington, good defense by Felder as he stood right there and blocked it, never left the floor. One of the things that Kentucky was emphasizing, don't go for the ball fakes. Early in this game, it's been more ball fakes by Kentucky. You see the difference when Kentucky goes into their half-court offense than when they push. They are dynamic in the open floor. Brooks, oh, and a block from behind by Felder. See, Brooks went all the way to the rim and grabbed it like the ball was still in his hand for a dunk.
I think if Brooks hadn't tried to dunk it and bring the ball back, it was an automatic two. He brought it back just far enough to allow the Florida defender to eat it up.
No, that's a bad shot. A fadeaway with Brooks in your face. Grady's left open. Way off with that one.
Man, a bad shot in this game by Florida is a turnover for Kentucky's transition offense. You have to have outstanding shot selection if you're Florida today in Rupp.
Felder already has one. No arc on it, but he buries another three, and he's got two of those. And just like that, it's a 6-point game.
That man shot a line drive.
Brooks, no good. Tshiebwe, and he's out-rebounded by Girougi, who's playing well to start this game.
What does Mike White go to right now? He's got the game back exactly how he wants it. Put Kentucky in a long defensive possession right here and see if he can get a breakdown.
McKissick all the way to the hole. Felder one more time, no. Grady had it. They're going to get something. I think it's going to be on Reeves. Coming in over the back. Kentucky 20, Florida 14 with 10.5 to go. What felt like a blowout, no longer. Kentucky started 8 of 10. Since then, they've gone 0 for 5. Kellen Grady started 3 for 3. He missed his last shot, and you see he's trending towards his high for three-point field goals in a season as we go beyond the bucket.
Ravi, he worked at Steph Curry's camp the last couple of summers, and this is one of the drills that he said he picked up from Steph. Just right around the rim, dribble the ball with one hand, and form shooting with the other. And all that's about is just getting a feel for the ball. And great shooters have a great feel. Well, how do you do it? In just multiple ways. But one of the drills that Kellen told me he does 4 or 5 times a week, and he'll slowly work his way out. But just that's forcing you to keep the shot elbow under the ball while you're dribbling the other one. Just shooters want to feel for the ball. That's a terrific drill to accomplish that.
And Appleby's on the bench. He's got his left thigh wrapped in a big pile of ice. Castleton's back on the floor. They went on an 8-0 run without either of those guys. And Mintz, that three is off. Kentucky 0 for its last 6.
You may see a lot of zone from Florida, especially with Appleby on the bench. Just the inability to stay in front of the ball man-to-man should be a concern.
Grady tries to go through that Castleton screen. He's open underneath. Damian Collins, number 4, into the game for Kentucky, and he's going to immediately get a foul. There you see Appleby with the ice on his leg. NBA Saturday primetime. Jimmy just talked about it. Steph Curry. Kellen Grady, of course, went to Davidson. That's where the relationship started. Clay and the Warriors, they currently sit in second place in the West. And the Lakers didn't get any help at the trade deadline, so it's all on the guys they have, including LeBron. We'll start with NBA Countdown, 8 Eastern, ABC, and the ESPN app. There's Castleton trying to go to work on Ware, and he knocks in a jump hook right over him, and the lead is down to 4.
Castleton just wore Lance Ware out right in front of the rim.
Washington floater, 0 for their last 7.
What fight back by Florida. I mean, Rupp was energized and electric, and Mike White called a timeout, settled his guys down.
A couple of them, too. He used the TV timeout after calling his own timeout. And it looks like the message, at least currently, has gotten through. And they like this Castleton-Ware matchup. As physical as Ware is, they double team him, and that's a tie-up. They don't call it. Castleton escapes. And one ref said he dribbled it, another called a travel.
That's a double dribble, Ravi. If you're not going to call a jump ball, and Colin Castleton there in that view then just ripped it away from the double team.
That's KB Burdett and Chuck Jones. Tony Green is the crew chief, and they're not going to make any call, and that sends John Calipari into a bit of a rage.
If you don't call a jump ball,
then
that's a double dribble.
Yep. They get 5 to get the shot off. They free up Fleming, high arcing three. Too strong, loose ball. Here comes Washington. Mintz just hands it off. Good hands in traffic by Ware, and he makes the basket. And he'll go to the free throw line. What a difficult catch in all those traffic hands.
Just a bulldog of a push by Davion Mintz, and a fast bulldog at that. And once he gets it banned, he finds that paint. And that's the Kentucky transition break. They trust the big will be in front of the rim. Good find. Good hard finish by Lance Ware. Whoa. What just happened?
Lance Ware found it somewhat entertaining. He's actually got a pretty good stroke and good form. That came off the finger a little bit. Jimmy is shaking.
Good effort, though, by Lance Ware. That's all you can ask from Calipari. Guys come in and give you all you got for 3 or 4 minutes. And trust your depth, because Kentucky has it as much as anyone in the college ball.
Ware goes to the bench. He's a 45% free throw shooter, not a 0% free throw shooter.
Good drop coverage by Tshiebwe. You're going to drop that deep. Castleton's got to take up the slack and knock down a 16-footer on the throwback.
DeRuggi will launch a three. That's no good. And here comes another opportunity to run. And Mintz. Tshiebwe turns around, sees Castleton. And the alley-oop to Tshiebwe. That went off the back of the backboard. It's out of bounds. It'll stay with the Cats. And Wheeler with 2 fouls is coming back into the game with 8:28 to go. Is that the luxury of having interchangeable point guards? You can play your...
Yes, absolutely. Cal not pleased with probably the over-penetration of Davion Mintz, but sends him right back to the scores table. Florida in a sagged off man, except for on the ball, almost looks like a zone.
Yeah, Myron Jones used that arm. It's an elbow block. So what was that for people at home? Wheeler came in for about 28 seconds. Mintz never even got to the bench and came right back into the game. What was the message?
It was an offensive play call by Calipari that he wanted Wheeler as the ball handler. He goes right back now with Mintz in. Well, look at this zone defense now by Florida. Again, it's a point zone. The ball gets caught on the logo, they then go man-to-man.
Washington to Tshiebwe, baseline jumper in and out. Out of bounds off Keon Brooks. Well, the Gators have chomped their way right back into this thing. 22-16, under 8 to go at Rupp Arena on a Saturday afternoon. 5 rebounds a game. Get a chance to see Ohio State squaring off against Michigan in a Sonic blockbuster. Question is, can Michigan back up their complete domination of Purdue on Thursday by knocking off the Buckeyes? And then at 10 Eastern, you'll see Johnny Juzang take on USC. The action can be seen here on ESPN and the ESPN app.
And Ravi Juzang has really been playing well. I think he's got 20 or more points in 6 of his last 8 games. Shooting a 3 ball about 39%, and he has really flourished under Mick Cronin.
Yeah, he was out a couple of weeks. We're dealing with the COVID protocols. He's back. It was 20-6 in this game when Wheeler picked up his 2nd foul, and since then Florida has outscored him 10-2. And boy, they're knocking down threes. If it's not Felder, Anthony DeRuggi.
But another long offensive possession by Florida. They lead the SEC in terms of their offensive possession averages 19 seconds per possession.
Give me for a while, and I know there's 7+ to go in this first half. It felt like Kentucky was going to score 100 points.
It did.
Brooks keeps that alive, and now they've got an extra man. One more pass from Washington would have found Grady. Instead, he shot it and he missed.
Ty now 2 out of his last 15 from the three-point line. And Florida continue to make shots with a shot clock gets to single digits. A big part of this game.
And they're out rebounding the Cats. Castleton, look out! Oh, Davion Mintz came down on Tshiebwe, and then he came down on the floor. Looks like he's okay. And Cal says, let's take a timeout. It's a one-point game, 22-21.
Rabbi, it was 20-6.
Yeah,
right?
20-6.
Watch Colin Castleton come and set the ball screen. So now that Keon Brooks is on the guy in the corner, that's not an empty corner ball screen. There's got to be some traffic and make Castleton cut through somebody's chest. And that weak side defense, Mintz just a little late rotating over. And another long possession by Florida. Look at the shot clock, 6, 5, 4. They are very comfortable, the Florida Gators, in long offensive possessions.
The other thing that Mike White's team has done this year is come from behind quite a bit. You've seen the numbers that they've trailed these teams by in their victories, including an in-conference 10-point comeback against Mississippi State. Big game later tonight, Mississippi State and LSU, two teams that need wins. And again, they were down 20-6 in this game, a 15-2 run since about the 13:50 mark. I guess what's the difference? Wheeler's been on the bench with a foul trouble, and they've made it a half-court game.
Well, now Florida has dictated how the game's going to be played, and they've done it with their little bit of extended pressure defense to slow the game down, and the zone has been good to Florida. We just watch them point. It's just a point pass-off zone is all it is.
Again, no Jacob Toppin available. That's a good pass inside. Tshiebwe laid it up and laid it in.
Yeah, there wasn't much room to throw it away from the defender. The pass on point on purpose.
The Bengals would like to see Joe Burrow do that tomorrow, and the Rams want to see Stafford thread the needle like that. Tough pass.
I know you'll be eating some tuna tartare as you watch that game. I will not.
We introduced Jimmy to that delicacy last night. He's still dealing with it mentally. Again, 5 on the shot clock, and Fleming's shot too strong. Ripped away by Washington. He'll float one up. No good. Watch out. Ware went up high. Tshiebwe grabbed it. He throws it up and in. Oscar Tshiebwe's got the last 4 for the Wildcats.
But that is an effort assist by Lance Ware. He tried to hammer that ball home and keep it alive for Tshiebwe to clean up.
Back to a 5-point cushion. Kentucky off a game in which they shot 56%. We did it against South Carolina.
Mike White back to that flex action. Got him a basket 5 or 6 minutes ago.
And that ball is kept alive. No, out of bounds. Off Ty Washington. They're 11-1 in games they shoot that percentage. They're shooting 48% so far today. And Oscar Tshiebwe's last 2 buckets get him off to a 4 for 5 start today.
Rabbi, his hands are so impressive. There's that effort assist by Lance Ware that Cal will give him credit for on film. And that first pass, man, it just, if it hits his fingertips, Big O has it.
Derugi had to fire that up on a short clock, and he drew iron. Ware with a big height advantage against Felder, takes him to the baseline. Mintz got it. And that's the benefit of all that depth they have on this Kentucky team. And they go 8-9 deep. And again, no Toppin today. Collins for a few minutes. We'll probably see Bryce Hopkins as well.
Rabbi, Kentucky doesn't take a ton of threes. They don't take a ton of mid-range shots. But they have very good balance at all 3 parts on the floor in their offense.
McKissick, that one's off to the right. That's an air ball. Brandon McKissick's 3, no good. It's a 35% shooter from 3. Jimmy, a game of runs. This game was 20-6, and then it was real tight. Now a 6-0 run for the Cats.
They did not love the shot by McKissick, and neither did Mike White. You mentioned his 35%, but he's 19% in SEC play. That was early in the shot clock on the road. 23 is going to sit down and think about it.
We watched that Alabama-Arkansas finish today. There was some odd shots taken that late. Shackelford and then J.D. Note as Alabama at home survived by a point. Good dish. That's a flush. Left wide open. Oscar Tshiebwe on the baseline and an 8-0 run.
You cannot, in the half court, not have the body on Oscar Tshiebwe. Never.
And here goes Tshiebwe. He's already got his 10 points, and he's got 5 rebounds already for the double-double machine. Defense tight. Ware grabs it, and Kentucky will try to push it again. Hot potato. Washington's 3 no good. Oscar had his 6th rebound, and they'll give him credit for it, and a foul called on the floor against the Gators.
Grady, I talked about at his core, Oscar will tell you the first thing about him, I'm a fighter first. Well, you got to have a body on a fighter at all times. That's too easy of a find. A defensive breakdown by Florida. 34 says thank you very much.
10-5. Tshiebwe a little bit better with the extra rebound. Kentucky's largest lead, 20-6 at 14. Myron Jones picked up his 2nd foul. He's the only Florida player with 2. Xavier Wheeler, the only Kentucky player with 2. Kentucky's committed only 3 fouls in this game. Alley-oop to Ware. That was denied a little bit, so he now sends it to Mintz. That's online, just a little too strong. Now, so last 3:20 here. Florida trying to keep this thing close and cut into this 9-point lead.
It's been a while since we've called Castleton's name. You know, Mike White coming out of the timeout. He probably knows the same thing.
Niles Lane gets it to go, and he got fouled on 55 and White. That's Ware.
Here's what I like about Niles Lane. About 3 weeks ago, I mean, Mike White set him down for about a week and didn't play him. I'm not even sure he practiced. But he didn't drop his head. He didn't run from hard. He didn't run from adversity. And he's fought his way back into being a real key guy because he's not afraid. He's tough. He competes. Defends his rear end off. Now, I like guys. I like people in life that go through life with a little bit of a limp. It means they got knocked down, but they find their way back up. I love that about Niles Lane. He was like hanging out with you.
I appreciate that. There have been a lot of downs, but a lot of ups now hanging out with Jimmy Dykes. He was in the doghouse.
Yeah.
But boy, when he's on the floor, their defensive numbers go way up.
Absolutely. It's about what does your team do when you're on the floor. And for Niles Lane, that number has been on the uptick.
And to John Crispin's point in the studio, whether it's Tshiebwe scoring, rebounding, he's doing something productive. Xavier Wheeler had a brutal game shooting. In fact, the last 4 have been bad. Calipari's like, don't worry about that. Just contribute. And to shot clock 3, no good. Grady will grab the offensive rebound. So to John's point in the studio and yours as well, you don't need to put the ball in the basket. We got other guys that can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. About 3 years ago, I wrote on a whiteboard, I believe it's 75 things you can do to help your team other than score. Like that, and like that.
Tshiebwe, a bit of a Barkley-type play. Rodman, throw it up, grab your own rebound. Akeem Olajuwon, and then get the bucket, so you get credit for the rebound and the basket.
He will be a Ben Wallace in the NBA. He'll probably be a late first-round draft pick, but what he does and what he does every single possession will transfer up. I have 0 doubt about it.
Nice move on the baseline. Kawasi Reeves. Tshiebwe, 12 points, 7 rebounds. He's nearing a double-double with a minute and 40 to play here in the first half.
Cal put in a new press breaker on Friday. That's trusting your team this deep in February to come up with a new press breaker. Kentucky's been really good at it.
Foul on Colin Castleton using his hands in the back of Oscar Tshiebwe.
Gabby, to your point, as soon as it left his hand, Tshiebwe was seeking that basketball. He runs right to the front of the rim and beats you below the rim.
That was such a good angle, too, from the top of the backboard. Not only did he throw the ball up to the basket, as soon as he threw it up, he started to look for his rebound.
Yes.
Love what you said last week in our game, that it's his feet, it's also his eyes, man. He is on the ball. And to your point this morning with Mike White, sometimes you need the ball to bounce your way. That's a travel on Keon Brooks. There is a little bit of luck involved in rebounding, a little bit.
Yeah, watch his feet. His feet will go find the ball, and then his hands just go up and grab it.
And watch when he throws it up, how quick he is to, now he's already ready to get the next
ready to
rebound.
go again. That play right there sums him up about as much as any I've seen this year.
So we should clip that off?
Clip it off. Highlight it.
Castleton, that's a tough body to go against, and that's rebound number 8 for Oscar Tshiebwe.
You force Castleton to shoot a shot going away from the rim. You have done your job.
He's got 18 double-doubles on the season if you're scoring at home. Mintz, that's short. Tshiebwe, 9th rebound. He'll throw that up and he'll get fouled. But Oscar Tshiebwe is taking over the game.
It's now 21 rebounds to 13 in favor of Kentucky.
And that was close.
One of Mike White's biggest concerns. Can we get enough boards in this game to hang with it?
Routine for Oscar, 12 and 9. We've seen a 28 rebound performance as we take a look at our Wendy's Wooden Watch, and certainly Oscar amongst the Player of the Year candidates. We heard from Johnny Juzang earlier. Who else you got on that list? Player of the Year.
Well, there's so many things I appreciate about his game, but his ability to run and how fast. Watch Tshiebwe right here. Watch him go. Give it up. Boom. Get out of there, man. Get out of there. Look at that. He's actually gaining ground on what might be the fastest point guard in college ball. And that ability, that heart, the Valentine that he plays with, it's hard to handle, hard to guard.
Going to pick up the Player of the Year conversation second half?
Well, yes, because
you were locked into the Tshiebwe's speed.
Well, I got a guy talking in my ear. I'm trying to listen to you. My cough drop went almost fall in my throat. I got a lot of issues right now.
You had the tuna tartare on the mind. You're still worried about the pizza you buried the other night, which we'll get into in the second half.
Rep, I really don't even think it's debatable about the National Player of the Year. It's Oscar Tshiebwe. I mean, to me, he's running away with it. When you dominate the game as much as he dominated, it's in a very important part of the game. The question is who's going to finish in second.
He's got 9 of Kentucky's last 11 points. Isn't that what Larry Bird used to say at the three-point shooting contest when you get off the elevator?
Yeah, that's it.
Which one of you guys is finishing second?
And he's doing it in arguably the toughest conference in college ball this year.
Another offensive rebound. That time it's Keon Brooks. Grady will launch another 3, and all of a sudden,
gotta go.
He's got a little cold. Calipari's looking at him like, why? Why'd we need that? Leads to an easy transition, 2 for Florida, and he's still wearing out Kellen Grady.
That was tremendous job by Flan Fleming to close out the half. He got that rebound with 6. And I don't know if it was Grady responsible for stopping the ball, but somebody was. That's a big, big basket for the Gators.
All right, Kevin and Crispin, they have the halftime report, 33-28 here at Rupp. Welcome back to Saturday Showcase. It's presented by 5 Hour Energy, and this is the SEC on ESPN. We are at Rupp Arena, where Kentucky is looking to take another step to a perfect home season. And if they continue to win and have success, they can lock up a #1 overall seed. They lead Florida 33-28. Oscar Tshiebwe having another fantastic game. That's Jimmy Dykes, and I'm Carl Ravitch. What did you see in the first half beside the game of runs?
Well, you have to fight Tshiebwe, and even if you do, he's probably going to get his normal 16 points and 15 rebounds. If you don't fight Oscar Tshiebwe, he could go for 20 and 20. This is just one play in the first half. But watch right here. Tshiebwe is going to take a jump shot. Watch Colin Castleton come out and challenge his shot, but then watch what Colin Castleton does. He stands and watches the toughest fighter in college ball, and as a result, 34 White just goes and gets it and whips everybody. You have to fight a fighter. I'm sure Mike White at halftime just drilled that point back home again. If you don't, Oscar Tshiebwe can go for 20 and 20 in a heartbeat.
He's got 13 and 9 here in the first half. Castleton 10 and 5. Kentucky started a house of fire, 8 of 10. They went 6 of 24. Probably a little concerned about the way that Ty Washington is shooting. 2 points on 1 of 8. Tyree Appleby is back on the floor, which is huge. He played 4 minutes. He re-aggravated a left thigh injury. They went obviously to the locker room at half and got that treated. And Xavier Wheeler played only 7 minutes. He had 2 fouls. So both starting point guards back on the floor for each team.
So, Ravi, to your point, if you're Florida, you can really shrink the court defensively with exception of on Kellen Grady, because Wheeler and Ty are not a three-point threat as of right now.
Wheeler broken 0 for 19 in the first half, and he throws up another one, and that one is no good. And the offensive rebound goes Kentucky's way. And the struggles continue for Ty Washington. Was he 2 for his last 18?
Now he's
3
for his last 19, I believe. Just shrink the court off those guys if you're Florida.
DeRuggi given space. He will launch. The 3, no good. Castleton. And that ball is won by Washington.
Good job by Washington. Get involved in the fight from that guard spot. Just continue to short closeout on Washington and Wheeler.
Appleby is the guy fronting Tshiebwe down to the baseline. Ty throws another one up, and it goes in. Shooter's going to shoot.
If you're Florida, though, don't panic. Don't overreact to it. Now, if he makes another one, you got to start playing honest defense once again.
Lead is up to 8. They led by as many as 14 in the first half. It was 20-6 in this game. Where does Florida get their points from? Besides Castleton and Felder 6, no one else has got more than 2. Washington again. Too strong. Good box out that time, and it's ripped away.
Good pass, good hands, good finish. Wow, really well done.
Easy.
How fast and how quick is Appleby? I mean, he re-injured what was already an earlier injury, and how quick can he respond in this game?
It started with Flanders Fleming's rebound. Washington forces it again, and that time he gets it to go in the paint, and he'll go to the free throw line to finish off a three-point play.
Florida only has 2 fast break points in this game, and here it is. Colin Castleton just runs right down the middle of the floor, and the 5-man for Kentucky's backpedaling while Castleton's sprinting.
Well, maybe that was part of the conversation at the half. You see what Oscar did to you? You got to start doing that the other side. Free throw missed by Washington. Not a lot of fouls in the first half, not a lot of free throws in this game. That was Kentucky's 4th. Florida's taken 1 free throw.
Remember, Mike White wants to play this game in the 60s. And the pace early, the game was going to be in the 90s.
Yeah,
he's choked it back down. He's got a chance to keep it there.
Ryan alley-oop. Brooks, like a volleyball player, deflects it back the other way. Grady, foul, and he makes the basket. What a finish. That all started with Keon Brooks' spike at the other end to keep that ball away from Castleton right there.
Yeah, because if Brooks tried to grab the ball, he would have fouled over the back, but he spikes it away. And that's that speed of Kentucky, man. They sprint at all 5 spots, and Grady, with his size, not only can he sprint to the corner ravvy and be a gravity ability 3 guy, see what he can do in traffic around the rim as well. That was really well done.
Appleby and Lane go to the bench for Mike White. Is there a team that goes from the defense to the offense quicker than Kentucky does?
No, there's not. We talked about in the first half. They are the fastest team in college basketball in terms of putting real pressure on your defense. A lot of teams can flood the floor. They just don't have the weapons to do anything with it. And Kentucky does. They got all the bullets.
Kick 3. Way off the mark. Good contest, too, by Washington to close.
Kentucky with a flyby. That's how they defend those threes. They fly by the shooter. More of a distraction than anything, but they stay away from fouling because of it.
Castleton's 2nd foul as he grabbed Tshiebwe. Doubleheader Wednesday night over on the SEC Network. Georgia, LSU, Baton Rouge at 7 Eastern time. LSU again hosting Mississippi State tonight, 8 Eastern time. And then Vandy goes to Auburn to face Pearl, Walker, Smith, and the Tigers. SEC Network and the ESPN app. Defense that time. Access denied as Sophia Wheeler threw it up and Flanders Fleming threw it back.
It's not easy to get to Kentucky's ball. What I mean by that, only 7% of Kentucky's shots get blocked in conference play. Only 7 out of 100.
Whoa! Did he leave Colin Castleton in the sneakers as Ty with a step back 3 from the corner.
And now that 3 ball is back rolling for Ty Washington. It looks like the drought is over.
And they're up by 14, and watch out. He's got Tshiebwe on the left, Washington on his right. Oh, that'll bring the crowd to its feet. The alley-oop from Washington to Tshiebwe.
You get a timeout for Mike White.
That was impressive. Washington shooting, but the other common thread on all that is number 2, the point guard's back on the floor.
The speed is phenomenal. Look at Tshiebwe. Just gets out in front of everybody. The dude's 6'8" and 255. My goodness.
Well, we're back. We just talked about them being as good as anybody in the country at this.
Ravi, it's the speed and the high IQ. Freezer right here, guys. Look, we know we want to go over here eventually to Tshiebwe at the end of the play. The problem is what we got to do is get the ball over here first. Now back to Tshiebwe. Not only are they fast, they're extremely smart. It's a really good read by Wheeler at midcourt. Where's Tshiebwe? Boom, there he is, but I got to go over here first. And Tai just throws it up. They are electric and dynamic, man, in their run game.
Yeah, they are terrific when it comes to the fast break points and points off turnovers, which continue to be a huge story. 14-0 points off turnovers, Kentucky over Florida. And out of the timeout bucket there. So it's 14, and this is obviously danger time for the Gators.
But a really good, hard, physical drive by McKissick out of the timeout.
Master Tshiebwe's not done doing damage. Up to 17 points, 9 rebounds.
Ravi, he literally knocks traffic out of the way as a rebounder and as a scorer in front of the rim.
Loose ball, Washington to the floor, can't come up with it. Brandon McKissick, last 4.
Kentucky forces you to make some pull-up jump shots because of that drop coverage they use with Tshiebwe.
Grady 3 on the baseline, no good, and a good box out that time on Keon Brooks by C.J. Felder. Such a difficult dynamic. Be patient when you're down 14. Sort of contradictory. Castleton, boy, that's a really good jump shot. He's got 3rd one he's made today from the foul line extended, and he's got 14.
Kind of how the game started. And Tshiebwe looks over at Cal like, what do you want me to do? You want me to come up on him? The threat of the ball screen drive knocks Tshiebwe off just enough for Castleton to become a jump shooter.
Wheeler into the paint, throws it up and in.
Can't let him go left, but it's hard to keep him from going left. That's the bottom line.
Wheeler will put pressure on you in the backcourt. That ball will stay with the Gators. Will take a timeout. With Kentucky up by 14 points. Xavier Wheeler, the seal is off. The ball has dropped a couple times today. He's got 5.
Kind of like the old Big East, man. There's big personalities, coaches that don't back down from one another. And this league's going to be hard to handle, man, in that March Madness. I'm telling you.
Anthony DeRuggi just went all bowling ball and knocked 3 Wildcats to the floor. Down by 14 in points. Again, Myron Jones coming off his best game. He had 7 threes, the Penn State transfer. He's not doing much, if anything, today. Neither is anybody other than Castleton.
He can't even get a shot off now.
No.
He's 0 for 1 in the game.
Good half-court defense. 5 on the shot clock. There's that first one from Jones, and he finds the bottom. Freed himself up and fired away. His big numbers came against Georgia, 7 threes, and then 5 against Missouri. Grady is left wide open, and almost like a free throw, stepped into it and missed it. They had a chance to pull it within 9 or 8 with a 3.
No Castleton, so it's an open offense for Florida right now.
And this is where they did damage in the first half when Castleton was off. Jones,
that's
in again.
Right on line, man, from the release. That thing was going in. The shot's a little awkward. It starts on the left side of his body and finishes on the right side. Just jumped up over the top of a smaller defender, did Jones.
Well, the same way that Mike White wanted to talk after Kellen Grady buried a few threes, Orlando Antigua, John Calipari wanted to discuss how we're going to defend Myron Jones.
Well, Xavier Wheeler, it wasn't the most urgent closeout that I've seen on a shooter. But Myron Jones, back-to-back threes, and Kentucky just can't put the Gators away.
A little South Carolina feel to this game. Kentucky was way out in front. Carolina, I think he tied it up at 43 all. And then Kentucky ended up pulling away. All right, Jimmy, UFC 271 tonight. You can flip back and forth between the SEC basketball games and this. It's at the Toyota Center in Houston. Israel Adesanya will put his middleweight title on the line. The main event against Robert Whittaker. The prelims are on ESPN, Deportes, and ESPN Plus. It starts at 8 Eastern. The main card, pay-per-view to order in English and Spanish. Go to espnplus.com/PPV.
You have to remember, Florida, they come in, they've won 4 in a row.
We've talked about their comebacks.
Yeah, they're a desperate team. They know exactly where they sit right now in terms of projecting the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, they got Kentucky here, they got A&M, and then they have Auburn and Arkansas. 4 quad 1 opponents for Florida in the 4 games they're playing, including today. They go back down to Tshiebwe, and boy, you talk about a release valve. When things go sideways, get it down to the paint to 34. Generally, good things will happen.
Yeah, he is your pressure release is what he is. That's another foul.
Yeah, that's bad, too. He went right into the knee of Ty Washington, and let's hope Ty is okay. Boy, that was scary because he landed right on that left leg of Ty Washington. And Ty may be taking it right to the locker room. Let's hope he didn't hear anything that would lead him to do that.
McKissick diving for this loose ball.
Right there.
Right there. Oh.
He's had an ankle issue this year, but boy, you see that on the football field a lot more than you do basketball. Or a lineman to someone will roll up into someone's leg, and that obviously bent it in a bad direction. We'll hope to get an update on Ty Washington's condition.
Ravi, teams that make big noise in March, they're hot at the right time. They're hungry and they're healthy.
Yes.
The 3 H's.
Yep.
No double.
Easy
basket. A little bit of a fake double at the end, but you're not going to double him and come with hard bodies, shoulder to shoulder. It's over.
I say similar about baseball teams. You need good players, you need good health, and you need good luck.
We need good luck for baseball to even be played this year, right?
Fair point. Well, the crowd is going to boo every time McKissick touches the ball. Jones again. That's too strong. They're letting him wear it on a turnover, which will get this crowd very happy. Obviously, there was no intent on McKissick when he ran into Washington's leg, but that's not going to affect this very partial crowd.
Nor should it.
No.
Right?
Brooks, baseline jumper, too strong. Tshiebwe, offensive rebound. That's his 10th. There's another double-double for Oscar.
Rather, you cannot just normal box off Oscar Tshiebwe. It will not work.
Yeah, and that's having a hard time defending it as well. 34 picks up his 12th consecutive game in which he has had 10 or more rebounds, the longest streak in Kentucky history since the great Dan Issel had 12 in a row. All right, Jimmy, Rupp Arena, that's the delicacy, right? Everybody's got to have ice cream.
Well, you know.
Yeah, and it's great.
Last time we were here, you were all into that.
Speaking of calories, we got some pizza being buried there. They're trying to get Damian Collins to eat pizza. This was sent to me, by the way, on a text from Jimmy. He ate that. He claims that's pizza. There's pineapple on top of it. I don't see any red sauce. What happened there?
First of all, it's gluten-free crust, so I stayed pretty semi-healthy. At the very end, the guy said, "Do you want some pineapple on it?" It's barbecue chicken pizza with pineapple. Absolutely, I do.
Is that really a pizza?
Yes. And you and Mike White said absolutely no, but
trust me, I took an informal survey. Yeah. I wasn't alone. Brad Calipari, Damian Collins, who they're trying to get 5,000 calories a day into, who loves pizza. He looked at it and said, "That's not. I wouldn't even call. That's like bread transporting whatever chicken." Pineapple, olives.
I will let Twitter weigh in and decide if pineapple on pizza is appropriate.
Yes, I think you'll lose. I don't think you'll like the outcome.
I love the mute button, by the way. I've used it 3 times today.
For me or on the on Twitter?
Twitter. Oh, yeah. Twitter.
I didn't know you were still checking it during the game. I thought you were focused on the game.
Halftime, I had to have something to do.
The conversation we were having wasn't enough?
It was boring.
Well, the big story now is we're waiting to find out about Ty Washington's left leg. He limped off and went right to the locker room after getting rolled up on by Brandon McKissick. Hard take there as Tshiebwe was involved again, and he's ahead of the floor, but Castleton caught him. 19th double-double of the year. Issel, who I mentioned going to the break, he has the record all-time, 25 double-doubles in the 69-70 season. And a terrific NBA career. 7 on the shot clock. They get it to Tshiebwe. Late double. 3 on the shot clock, and that is a turnover. And a run out, and that's a goaltend anyway. It was going to be put in on the layup. So the hustle by Florida ends up turning the turnover into 2 points.
Ravi, no team is without issues. And one area Kentucky has to get better is playing out that double team of Tshiebwe. And it's not on Tshiebwe, it's on the other 4 guys getting available, making hard cuts, and giving him some outlets.
It's only 12, under 10 to go. Grady the runner, no good. Oscar the rebound. Who's open? It's Kellen. And that's off to the right. And all of a sudden that half-court offense for Kentucky's got a little stale. Ty Washington was starting to find that groove with his 3-point shooting. He went to the locker room with 10 points.
Kentucky can overcome Ty for a short period of time, but that is your overall best playmaker, shot maker, versatile defender. The big story right now for Big Blue Nation.
Anyway, Baylor lost one of their great players, Jonathan Chamwachachua, today. I'm not sure about the extent of his knee injury.
They've got to get Cryer back. They're going to be okay. Flo Famba is still a legit 7-footer.
Yep. The no arc 3-point attempt. And it was knocked around, and it's Wheeler who comes away with it. Xavier Wheeler. All of a sudden, his field goals, especially the ones from the outside, going down. And Xavier Wheeler, the point guard, now with 7. $14-point cushion for the Cats after their 21st win of the year. Caught up in the air, they get it down to Flanders, and he throws it up, and he'll go to the free throw line. And he'll shoot a couple. All that on Keon Brooks.
That's his first for the team's first.
Good hard drive by Kawasi Reeves for Florida. Well, his minutes have gone up as well. Just as a hard driver, he really flies around and fights on the offensive glass. And in pregame warmups, I asked him, what do we call the hairstyle? And Brandon McKissick came right over to me and said, that's the Wasi Wasi. And he wears it well. And he's going to be a heck of a player, man. He's all of 6'7". He's not afraid of the moment and flies around on the glass. He's got a nice release on his jump shot, about 40% for 3. And big-time hair. Man, that is big time.
Kawasi Reeves, the freshman out of Macon, Georgia. McKissick checked back in. That's why the booing occurred. He's the guy that inadvertently rolled up on Washington. Only a 12-point lead here. Still plenty of time for the Gators. And again, the half-court offense for Kentucky, very different than their fast break offense when they take advantage of a rebound or a turnover. Grady to the corner, contested. That's no good. Ware with a rebound, and they're going to get a foul against Florida. That's going to be called on Myron Jones as he was tugging at Lance Ware's jersey, and that's the 3rd on Myron Jones.
What we appreciate about Kentucky, they can beat you if the game is in the high 60s. They can beat you if the game gets in the 90s, and they've proven it this year.
That's nothing but the bottom right in front of the Kentucky bench. Davion Mintz.
We talk about the stroke of Grady, and rightfully so, but Davion Mintz, actually in conference play, is the best 3-point shooter Kentucky has. Another guy with gravity ability you cannot come off of.
Oh, McKissick got Tshiebwe up in the air, and he will try to convert a three-point play. Don Calipari was beating the drum. When you get a ball fake, stay on the ground, and Tshiebwe didn't.
Look at that, just a good, violent cut by Mintz into a three-point shot. Nothing but the bottom of the net.
Our next game, Ohio State and Michigan. So Michigan goes in and they just destroy Purdue. Now, there's a little caveat, right? I mean, Purdue had just gotten over beating Illinois like 2 nights earlier. Then they play, this was a make-up schedule game, and they're playing again Saturday.
Well, it's when you play someone that's so important, but I'm still a big believer in Purdue. I know you are as well. Jay Knighty got his 18 that night, by the way, and I've said it for about 3 weeks now. I have no hesitation taking him #1 in the next draft. That dude is explosive. He looks different than anybody else in college ball. How about the emergence of Hunter Dickinson in that game? Hunter Dickinson now is 41% from the three-point line, Ravi, on the year. He's made 16. Didn't make any last year, but so where's Michigan right now? They're in position to be in position if they win the game. Does that make any sense?
It does. I understand what you're saying.
And Andy Kennedy has settled the pineapple on pizza argument for everyone.
Wait,
Andy Kennedy.
vote?
Yes, Andy Kennedy's had you know Andy Kennedy?
I
you
love
think he's
Andy
had a lot of late night pizzas?
I don't doubt that.
Okay, well, he says absolutely pineapple on a pizza, 1-0 Jimmy. Move on to the next topic. Andy Kennedy's got a ball club, man.
Andy Kennedy can coach. He has poor taste in pizza, but he can coach. By the way, Deb Moore, the SID for Kentucky basketball, just says Ty still being evaluated, lower leg. Hey, Tshiebwe puts in another one. Wouldn't be more specific, just lower leg, and it's still being evaluated.
You got to fight Tshiebwe. I don't think Florida has fought Tshiebwe like Mike White would like for his guys to fight him.
He's got 25 and 12. Castleton working hard, goes with the left. That is unstoppable.
That was a really good move by Castle, was it not?
It was great. He's got 16.
Yeah, he got to his left shoulder, and Tshiebwe was sitting on the left shoulder, so he comes back. Pro move.
Both Hopkins and Collins have been on the bench, and Ware is getting most of the playing time, and he's there for the follow-up flush.
Wheeler goes left and lefter. And that time he just kind of snaked his way through that ball screen defense. And so clever and so good. Small guys, Ravi, they understand how to get the ball up. Watch, snake through it, boom. Kind of fake the snake and get that ball at the high left corner of the glass. And boy, small guards at this level, if you don't have that floater game, high release game, you get chewed up. Really well done by Xavier Wheeler.
Yeah, and Lance Ware is a physical specimen, too. He's 6'9", 223, and he plays physical.
I remember Cal last year talking about Lance as a freshman. He said, first of all, there's no fear. And a lot of freshmen are afraid. They're scared to go in. They don't know how to compete. That's never has been the issue with Lance Ware. He's a very trusted backup 5 right now.
Another thing you notice when you know that the history of Xavier Wheeler running into those screens, he's paying a heck of a lot more attention to the guys that are trying to do that to him. There's Castleton as McKissick throws a 3 that's way off. Much to the delight of this crowd. Again, if you're just joining us, Brandon McKissick, 23. The Florida rolled up against the leg of Xavier, I should say, of Ty Washington. And he hurt that left leg. He immediately limped off into the locker room where he's being evaluated. So every time McKissick touches it, his crowd boos.
Cal's going his circle action, but it's involving Xavier Wheeler, then into a ball screen with Tshiebwe. Just a creative way to get that 2-man game going.
Hustle all over the place, and down to the floor goes Jones. Castleton is down, and look out. There's a guy, Ware, who's right in the middle of it from Camden, New Jersey, and now he evacuates the area. Right in front of the Kentucky bench, some pushing and shoving.
What happens after the whistle? And that's just grown man effort right there. But then right here, I don't know what Fran Fleming's doing. Yeah, officials will take a look at that. That's a pretty easy either dead ball contact, technical foul, or an F1. Just a little bit run into the back by Lance Ware by Flan Fleming. And good job and good discipline by Ware to walk away from it.
Flanders Fleming out of Athens, Georgia, by way of Charleston Southern. During their shoot-around earlier today, the most vocal player on Florida's team was, in fact, Brandon McKissick. He is their verbal leader. He was the one yelling very loudly during the shoot-around today, trying to get everybody motivated. It's a fairly quiet shoot-around until Brandon started getting the guys riled up.
Yeah, he's got a voice. I love 23's voice on a game day shoot-around. It is always up. And the officials right now looking to see, we know we have a dead ball contact technical foul has been called. Could it escalate to an F1 or beyond is what they're looking at right now. That, to me, that's a classic example of a dead ball contact technical. And Cal is taking advantage of the timeout to do some coaching for his guys.
You know, we talked about the animated coaches that this league has. Because he's got such talent, but we get a chance to go to the shoot-arounds and the practices. It's a buttoned-up practice.
It is.
You know, they're going through things that they have been prepped on, that the film session has got them. And when you see I'm not suggesting the other coaches don't do it, but there is a nature about the way that Kentucky and Calipari runs his practice, and he runs the practice.
Yeah, he dominates the practice, absolutely. And especially on game day, it's a little bit more intense and dialed up on game day. I've been at some non-game day practices where the assistants are a little bit more involved. On game days, it is all Cal.
And he's worked really hard getting everybody on the same page, and it's a very different team now than it was obviously in the beginning of the season. And certainly along with the Gonzagas and the Baylors, the Auburns, a national championship is very possible for the Wildcats this year.
So, Ravi, they're not going to call a dead ball contact technical. In the words of the official, it's just a little bump in the back, and that will not set well with Big Blue Nation or Cal. And that's it. That's all they're going to call. I'm very surprised that that's all they came up with after looking at the monitor. I don't see how you can allow a guy to run into the back of someone else.
That would incite.
And have contact.
Yeah.
Yes.
That could incite something.
Yeah, I didn't see the play the same way they did.
No foul there. That's just a hard play. But here, look at Ware turned his back to move away from it too.
That has to be called something, because that could escalate into a mess.
And already the crowd chippy because of the injury to Washington. And that only has ratcheted up. Kentucky by 14, 5:30 to go. Baseline jumper good, and it kind of quiets everybody. It's Flanders again. So you have two guys, Flanders and McKissick, that have become public enemy number one today at Rupp Arena. 1 and 1A.
Cal in position right now to grind this game away with 5 minutes and a 12-point lead. They do not need quick shots unless it comes off of their defense. Talking about Kentucky.
Well, they just took one, and Mintz's three is no good. Flying in is Anthony DeRucci, a high jumper.
Cal looked at Mintz and said, keep that ball moving. Where's Castleton been in this game offensively? Finally, they get him in the middle of the floor and let him drive it.
Keon Brooks' minutes have been down a little bit today. He's been fairly ineffective, Jimmy, with just the 2 points on 1 of 4 shooting and only 1 rebound.
That's the versatility, though, of Kentucky. Yes. They can beat you with different styles. They can beat you with different guys. And I like the ball in the hands of Castleton over the next 5 minutes. He has 16 points, and he's 8 out of 11 from the field. And in a game like this, you want Castleton to end up with 15, 16 shots, and I expect to be a heavy dose of Colin Castleton with 4:57 to go.
Ware out of the game, Ware into the game, Brooks to the bench. And Castleton to pull the Gators within 10. He rolls it in. Colin Castleton, 18 points. Shaden Sharp, it was announced by Calipari, will not play in a game this year. The expectation is He's going to come back next year in Cal City. If he comes back and does all the things that we believe he's capable of doing and learning, he's the #1 pick in the NBA draft.
Shaedon Sharpe's doing the right thing. You're not going to become a #1 pick going against cones and chairs with a workout dude. It's not going to happen. You've got to play ball, and you got to play ball every day against the best players out there. So Shaedon Sharpe and his family are all in on practicing the rest of this year and being ready to roll next year. Because if he puts in the work, and do you deserve to play well? If Shaedon Sharpe understands that going forward, absolutely he can be the #1 pick next year. But you're not going to get it going against cones.
No, and he is active in practice. It's not as if he's sitting there watching. He's out there, and he's running through all of it. Now, if Washington has a significant injury, does that change the dynamic at all or not?
I don't think it does. I think that decision has been made, but everything's up for change.
Oscar Tshiebwe, another monster game, doing it with the points today. 27 points. He's 11 of 15 from the floor. And 13 rebounds to go with those 27 points. They had no answer for 34 in white.
Pinned down from McKissick. And play off the elbow screen of Castleton.
Castleton 3, high archer, too strong. Tshiebwe in traffic, pulls down rebound number 14.
He just bounces people out of the way, doesn't he? And it's not just the orange jerseys. He will bounce a white jersey out of the way just as fast.
Kellen Grady, 12 points. He started knocking down threes early as Wheeler throws one up and in. Safia Wheeler is contributing with the points today. He's got 9.
Wheeler has really, he has read the gaps. About a scale of 10 as a 10 today.
Derugi 3, corner, rattles around and out. 15 rebounds for Tshiebwe.
I think he's going to go back to one circle for Safia Wheeler and put him in a ball screen. Yeah, there it is. Wheeler's the circle guy, and a two-man game has been the result off of it. Watch Wheeler run the baseline.
Kentucky shooting 54%.
Now they're into it.
In the second half. Tshiebwe, high archer, immediately went for the rebound, and it turns into the hands of Kentucky. The shot clock buzzer sounded inadvertently.
And now they're going to let Mintz run the baseline. And all this action is doing, taking time off that clock.
He launches a long three right in front of the bench. And it goes down. It's one of those, so we're going to do that. We are, and it went in. The lead grows to 17. And the depth of Kentucky is shining today. 72-55, under 3 to play. Largest lead of the game. ESPN 6
app.
All right, KC, John, thank you very much. That foul in that Duke game, Jimmy, I saw what you had tweeted out. Man. What should that be? It should be an F4.
Should have been an F4. Yeah, and I really admire how Coach K handled that. As the kid came over and apologized, and Coach K hugged him, and man, that was as scary of a play as I've seen in a long time.
Back here, the big story of the game, besides the outcome of the game, and Oscar Tshiebwe's double-double, is absolutely going to be the injury status of Ty Washington. He suffered an ankle injury earlier this year, and it was clear they missed him. And now he left with what appeared to be a left leg injury. Not sure if it was knee-related, lower part of the leg, according to Kentucky. He was rolled up onto, and then he just took off and limped all his way to the locker room without stopping at the bench. Tshiebwe fighting for another rebound, throws it up, and can't get that to go. Oscar's career high in points is 30. He's got 27 tonight. You know, given the injury to Ty, the game is now, for all intents and purposes, over. Do you think about getting some of your star players off the floor?
Well, I'm sure those assistants are in Cal's ear right now. You know, the other part about this game is the loss of Tyree Appleby from Florida. Now he's as valuable to Florida as Ty is to Kentucky. That thing's been in an awkward way that God didn't intend it to bend. And Ty immediately came up, and he was the fact he could put a little pressure on it gives you a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
But he knew, I'm at least done for today, and get me in the locker room.
Yeah, we've seen enough Kentucky games, Jimmy, and seen different individuals. As great as Tshiebwe has been collectively, there have been games that have been a Collins game or a Toppin game. This feels like this is the Lance Ware game, because the crowd is certainly with him. He's been the fiery guy here. He was in the middle of that altercation right around the bench. Just then he went to the floor and the crowd exploded for him.
And Randy, he's played a lot of minutes with Oscar Tshiebwe. Not just the backup to Oscar.
Yeah.
Those two guys have been in there, and you start trying to hammer, and with those two big bodies, you will get jackhammered is what will happen.
That's right. 32 at Orange. Toonsite Gatkick is in the game. He just came up with the rebound and the putback.
You've been waiting since this morning to say that name.
I have it phonetically spelled on my sheet. And this is just a dynamic mismatch underneath. He tried to battle Tshiebwe. He threw it up, got his rebound. And then Davion Mintz knocks down another three. Kentucky's been effective shooting the three today. That's their 9th. $18-point lead. Kennedy's three off the iron. Ware the rebound. And now they're just running out the clock with 38 to go.
No Jacob Toppin today, no Ty Washington for a long stretch. If Kentucky is healthy, they are the best team in college basketball as of right now.
Wheeler kick, Grady. Exclamation point, Kellen Grady's three. Grady to 15 points on his 4th three. He's 4th of 11. And Tshiebwe with a rebound to run out the clock. Oscar Tshiebwe is going to end up with 27 points and 18 rebounds. And Kentucky rolls the Gators here, 78-57, the final score.
That is a bad man, Oscar Tshiebwe.
They add a rebound, 27 points, 19 rebounds. If we stay longer, he'll end up with 20. But we can't. Next year on ESPN, Ohio State against Michigan in that Sonic blockbuster. And then don't forget, 10 Eastern time, the LA Crosstown Showdown, UCLA and USC. The action on ESPN and the app. For Jimmy Dykes and our entire production crew, I'm Carl Ravitch. Jason Benetti, Robbie Hummel have the call.